What would happen if one of the most advanced civilizations of antiquity didn't separate science from spirituality? Thousands of years ago, on the banks of the Nile, ancient Egypt developed knowledge of astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and architecture that continues to amaze us even today. And perhaps the most fascinating aspect, the one that makes us reflect, is not only on all that they built, but also on the profound way in which they understood the universe. Because for the Egyptians, the sky, the earth, the human body, and the spirit were not isolated aspects, but rather part of the same living fabric, a symphony of existence where each note affected the whole. The stars were not just distant lights in the darkness of the desert. They were celestial clocks, sacred maps of eternity, tangible signs of the cosmic order that governs all that is visible and invisible. The astronomer priests, guardians of time, carefully observed the movement of the night sky to measure the passage of time. They were used to anticipate the Nile floods and to organize ceremonies, harvests, and major construction projects with mathematical precision. One of the most important stars for them was Sirius, known as Sopdet. Its appearance was no ordinary event. Every year, when Sirius reappeared on the horizon just before dawn, it announced the imminent arrival of the Nile flood. This almost miraculous event brought fertile silt and guaranteed life and agriculture throughout Egypt. This phenomenon, this dance between sky and water, marked the development of one of the most precise calendars of antiquity. Thus, their science was intertwined with survival and the rhythm of nature. But Egyptian astronomical knowledge went far beyond observing the seasons and the weather. Many temples and pyramids appear to have been designed as mirrors of the heavens, aligning with specific celestial events and constellations they considered sacred. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, continues to raise unsettling questions among researchers, architects, and scholars of the modern world. How did a civilization thousands of years ago manage to construct structures with millimeter precision? How did they transport and perfectly fit together enormous blocks of stone weighing tons? And why do certain alignments seem to relate to the position of the stars and the most complex astronomical movements? Although many theories exist today, the truth is that Egyptian engineering was extraordinary and continues to defy our logic. Their understanding of proportions, orientation, and geometry allowed them to erect structures that have not only survived for millennia but seem to resonate with purpose. That transcends architecture. Mathematics occupied an essential place at the heart of this civilization. It wasn't just numbers, floods. They designed temples that reflected divine perfection and monumental structures that defied time. However, geometry was not just a tool for construction. It also reflected harmony, order, balance. These were concepts deeply connected to their spiritual vision of the universe and their concept of cosmic justice. For them, building a temple didn't just mean erecting stone walls and massive roofs. It meant creating a sacred space in direct resonance with the laws of the cosmos, a place where earth and sky could meet again. And when we talk about medicine, Egypt also left us a legacy that is simply astonishing. Ancient papyri, like the famous Ebers papyrus, contain detailed treatments, clinical observations, and herbal knowledge that demonstrate a level of scientific development very advanced for their time. Egyptian physicians were not mere empiricists. They meticulously studied wounds, fractures, internal organs, the symptoms of ailments, and the various diseases that afflicted their people. There are even clear records of basic surgical procedures and an astonishing level of medical specialization that we would consider modern today. But their vision of healing was holistic and profoundly human. Health did not depend solely on the well-being of the physical body. It was also closely related to the emotional, spiritual, and energetic balance of the individual. In many cases, medicine based on scientific observation and ceremonial practices to restore the soul coexisted perfectly. Perhaps one of the most profound lessons that ancient Egypt leaves us is this integration of knowledge. Today, in our era of extreme specialization, we tend to divide knowledge into separate and often conflicting categories. Science on one side, spirituality on the other hand, art, medicine, astronomy, philosophy. Everything seems fragmented into pieces that don't know how to fit together. But for the Egyptians, the universe functioned as a connected whole, a living, conscious organism. Observing the stars was also observing the cycle of life. Understanding mathematical proportions was understanding the harmony that should govern our actions. Healing the body also meant caring for the spirit, and perhaps that's why, thousands of years later, Egypt continues to fascinate us with such power. Because its temples don't just seem to speak of stone and sand, they seem to speak of the memory of humanity, of a way of relating to knowledge, to nature, and to the cosmos that observes us from above. A way in which humankind still felt an essential part of something much larger than itself. Perhaps we will never be able to answer all the questions that arise when we see the pyramids, but perhaps the most valuable thing is to allow these ancient civilizations to remind us of something the modern world forgets. That knowledge, wisdom, and consciousness were not always separate on the path of evolution, and that gazing at the stars in awe can also be one of the most profound ways to remember who we truly are.